And the House of Representatives on December 6 voted to pass a bill that would block a proposed rule by the EPA, or the Environmental Protection Agency, to effectively mandate that most cars produced in the United States to be fully electric by 2032. You spoke out, and some elected officials actually heard you. The bill, H.R. 4468, dubbed the Choice in Automobile Retail Sales, or CARS Act of 2023, passed the House by 221 to 197 vote.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Parts Talk. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate each and every one of you. Now, Canada is known for its breathtaking landscape, but is no stranger to extreme cold, and lately we've been experiencing quite the winter chill, and it challenges the very essence of the electric vehicle mandate. Now, with temperatures plunging into the minus teens and minus 20s, electric vehicle owners are facing a unique set of challenges. The cold does consume about 50% more power from your battery, hence the technology is not yet there. But it's not just about the power, it's also about the infrastructure. Recently we saw in Chicago, EVs found themselves stranded with dead batteries due to freezing weather that took out multiple charging stations in that area. Here in Canada, the province of Alberta, with record-breaking cold, prompted an emergency alert, with citizens urged to conserve energy, including unplugging electric vehicles. While up in Yellowknife, they had their charging stations completely frozen. EV drives see a 40 to 50% decrease in range when temperatures drop below minus 15 degrees Celsius. But at least down south, politicians there are moving to challenge the Biden administration EV mandate, as the headline here says, House votes to block Biden EV rule. Now, with a summarized report, here's Car Coach Report Lauren Fix. She will explain in detail what is happening there, and then we will follow through with our analysis. Please ensure you hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. So let's get into it.
The House of Representatives has voted to overturn Biden's EV mandate. We let them know where we stood on H.R. 4468, which is a bill prohibiting the EPA from implementing a mandate to only buy electric vehicles. Now, this is the first step in stopping the EPA from restricting what types of vehicles can be offered, allowing you and the market to decide what is sold. And the House of Representatives on December 6 voted to pass a bill that would block a proposed rule by the EPA, or the Environmental Protection Agency, to effectively mandate that most cars produced in the United States to be fully electric by 2032. You spoke out, and some elected officials actually heard you. The bill, H.R. 4468, dubbed the Choice in Automobile Retail Sales, or CARS Act of 2023, passed the House by 221 to 197 vote. That included total GOP support and some Democrats that were seeking to have the bill sent back to committee. The bill would block an EPA rule that would require roughly 68% of cars produced in the United States to be fully electric by 2032. The electric vehicle mandate rule is supported by President Joe Biden and his administration, and Republicans have rallied against proposed standards, which they say are unrealistic and threaten to undermine consumer freedom, as well as increasing U.S. dependence on China, because around 90% of the rare earth minerals used to create these electric vehicle batteries are from China. While we are supportive of the free market producing electric vehicles to satisfy a market need, that is misguided EPA mandate would have an immediate detrimental impact on the choices and affordability of cars, trucks, and SUVs available to our constituents, said the Republican signatories. Specifically, those who signed the letter pushed for the inclusion of the reversal of the EV standards to be included in the final draft of the 2024 government funding. And quote, not only would the EPA's proposed regulation hurt America's national security, but it would severely limit consumer choice for the affordable vehicles that fit the needs of the average American, close quote, they wrote. In addition, at the time of inflation, high interest rates, and rising costs, the last thing Americans need to find, both new and used vehicles, is unaffordable, because the EPA has mandates.
And it is already unaffordable because the average electric vehicle right now stands at a whopping $45,000 and climbing. The smaller the vehicle is, the more affordable it is, but it is only for those who live conveniently in and around the town in which they reside and work, not so much for persons who traverse long commutes to get to their final destination.
The National Auto Dealers Association has also criticized the EPA rule, which they called too far, too fast, in a December 5th press conference in support of the measure to overturn the rule prior to the vote on the floor. They stated that this standard is unattainable, it's unaffordable, and it's unrealistic. Representative Lisa McClain of Michigan agreed, saying that the notion that most vehicles should be fully electric by 2032 is ridiculous. She said if we force automakers to do this, they will bleed money, which will mean layoffs for employees and their families who are already struggling under the administration, and manufacturing will move outside the United States. This is not good for our taxpayers.
And this is a fact, because if you've been in the automotive space for a very long time, you saw exactly what happened in Detroit. As soon as the cost of production got too high, then they lock shop and move to another province or state or even to another country, because right now you have a lot of the vehicles being manufactured for North America is being manufactured in Mexico and outside of the North American region because of overhead expenses.
Representative Chip Roy of Texas, another enthusiast supporter of the proposal, raised a series of concerns about the potential effect of the mandate, specifically the instability of the U.S. electric grid, which is currently unable to support the large-scale movement toward EVs. As proof of this, he pointed to the case in California a few years ago when Governor Gavin Newsom asked Californians not to charge their EVs between 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. due to the strains on the electric grid. And, quote, what do we do when you're stuck? What do you do when your wife is pregnant or you have to get to the hospital? Close quote. Despite this bill passing in the House, the legislation seems unlikely to pass in the Senate, where the Democrats hold a majority. And even if it did pass in the Senate, President Biden has promised to veto the bill. In the United States, the president can use this veto power to prevent a bill from passing through Congress and becoming a law. And Congress can override that veto by 2/3 of the vote in both chambers. So now it's time to start making some phone calls and some emails and some letter writing.
At least down south, they're trying to do something about it and having their voices heard. Canada, on the other hand, aims to phase out gas-powered vehicles by 2035. Concerns arise about not only whether the EV infrastructure can keep up, but range anxiety and prices are the very two main factors deterring Canadians from buying EVs. And not to mention the constant raising of taxes, high inflation, and basic cost of living expenses. Politics and politicians here are just different in the way they do things and the way they think. And once you start asking questions, then they label you as a hater. Last year, government reported about 20,000 publicly available charging stations, but experts estimate over 400,000 are needed in the next 11 years. And that's just putting it mildly. Consumers want the assurance that if they invest in an electric vehicle, charging will be accessible wherever and whenever it is. Right now, a gas station is on every corner. But they're trying to tell people all types of tips, such as if you're running low on charge, just slow down and try to keep the vehicle's battery warm, as if everyone has a secured and heated garage at home. And things like, oh, it might take an extra 20-30 minutes to charge, but it's worth it, and all different types of crap. What if you're driving to another destination that's far, far away? And usually in Canada, everywhere is far. But I'm yet to see a politician here take an EV on a crossroad country trip. They usually travel around in spacious gas guzzlers anyway, while they want us to be running around in freezing temperatures trying to find the nearest charging station. We have been arguing for the last 50 years for a greener tomorrow, but this time they want us all to catch hypothermia. Get in there.
How dare you!
Remember to grab a copy of my ebook, The Parts Manager Guide. Please smash that like button on your way out. It will only take you 1.5 seconds to do so. Until next time.